guys, this is the Super Review Show. This is going to be a live, well, not live, but it's going to be a Q&A with my friend over here. You can't see him, he's not on the screen. And he's going to ask me a bunch of questions about movie news that has come out. And as you can obviously tell, I'm not in, Studio A, which is like my house. I'm in his house now, so we're going to be recording these questions. He's going to ask the questions, I'm going to be answering them, and then you'll be informed about all the movie news coming out soon. Alright? Ask away.
Alright. So, what do you think of the new Terminator, and how do you think it will do?
Ooh, I gotta say the new Terminator film. Well, I mean, first off, Arnold Schwarzenegger hasn't not had a hit since like The Last Stand he came back with. There was no recognizable franchise, and he didn't come back the way Stallone did with a Rocky or a Rambo, or Vin Diesel came back with after Triple X and Fast and Furious. He left that for a little bit. And he said, you know what, I'm going to go try some new stuff, and that didn't work, and then he came back to Fast and Furious, and hey, I'm Vin Diesel again. So Arnold's got to do the same. Hopefully Terminator Genisys knocks it out of the park with its PG-13 rating, and hopefully they get a lot of money from it. That way that he can revitalize his career, and he can be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Come on, he can be Arnold again. That's my answer to that.
Sounds good. Alright, next question. What are your thoughts on Transformers and Cinematic Universe?
Well, this is a funny topic, I will say that. The Transformers Cinematic Universe that's been going on, I'm going to tell you right now. I think it's a bold move, but I don't know if it's the right move for Paramount to take. Because I know that you're a big Transformers fan. I know that you've seen all of the movies since 2007. You're a big fan. You haven't read the comics or you haven't seen the original cartoon, but that's okay. You're just a casual fan of the movies, and that's a good thing. But one of the things that puzzles me about this is that are you really going to have like an Optimus Prime movie or a Bumblebee movie like has spin-offs or it's like prequels to expand this world? The way I would do it is, my thoughts on it would be like, you take G.I. Joe, which is at Paramount as well, and you combine that with it. They have the G.I. Joe and the Transformers are, battling it out, and they're, Megatron, like The Rock is fighting Megatron. That's pretty freaking awesome. And then, because I understand that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is under Paramount as well, so you could throw those guys in there too, and you have like a big robot G.I. Joe turtle-centric universe. Yeah, that way it makes sense. It feels cohesive. Rather than, hey, let's just have Optimus Prime, the movie, instead of like Bumblebee, the movie. Like it's I don't know, you're laughing. It's not that good. So they gotta change it up a little bit. I think the new G.I. Joe is gonna be in the new Transformers universe, which means that the other two are gonna be in there too, and the history exists. So overall, that's what I think about the new Transformers.
So what do you think about this? Who could be in the Avengers Infinity War 1 and 2?
Oh, yeah, I haven't really thought about that much. But given that Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage, those Netflix shows, and also the fact that you have Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, the Vision, Scarlet Witch, Falcon, War Machine, and many more to come down the line. Black Panther, you got Ant-Man, you got the abundance of characters that are coming out soon. I don't know how they're gonna fit all these characters. It's 2 movies too. I mean, 2 movies makes more sense than 1 movie. Because if you have 1 movie, I mean, that's like cramming, like 5 bananas in a blender for a smoothie instead of 1 banana for a smoothie. You know what I'm saying? You got to make it fit right. I'm sure that the Russo brothers and their writers are getting right on the script with that. I know that they're doing a really good job with that too. Because look what they did with Captain America too. I mean, come on, that's pretty awesome. But I think that if you have the right balance of screen time between the heroes, fighting the ultimate bad guy Thanos, and who's to say the Guardians of the Galaxy won't show up in this movie too? Who's to say that like this one won't go in there? It's gonna be ridiculous. Like an all-out, homicidal freak show of like action adventure, and to mention it's also gonna be shot in IMAX. The whole thing's in IMAX. It's not like bits and pieces in IMAX. The whole thing's gonna be straight up IMAX. So it's gonna be interesting how they do that. But yeah, so that's what I think is gonna be in Infinity War 1 and 2.
Alright, so we got a few comic books here that you brought here today.
What? No way! That's great!
I'm gonna need you to go over a few of them.
Oh, sure, that's fine.
So how about this one, Star Trek Archives?
Well, as you can see here, I know for you guys in the camera it's reversed, but Star Trek, this is an older graphic novel. It's many different stories put into one new graphic novel. I've read the whole thing. I adored it. I was like, "Yay, Captain Kirk!" You know, and also it's a lot of the old back issues of Captain Kirk from the old 70s and 80s of comic books. What I think about it, I think it's great that the company is revitalizing these old comic books into a newer, brighter page printout of these old books. That way, new younger fans can get a kick out of. Oh my God, it's Captain Kirk! They can get a kick out of that. So that's what I think about this one. Do you have any more?
We got Buck Rogers.
Oh, Buck Rogers, the man, the myth, the legend. He's been around since the 30s, folks. Like I said, reading this one was very. It was a new take on Buck Rogers. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. I really loved how Buck Rogers, it's in like the 23rd century, which is where Star Trek takes place as well. But Buck Rogers is doing his thing. He's from Earth, and he's kind of like the Star-Lord on his own, without his Guardians of the Galaxy with him. But he's going around, he's stopping all of these bad guys in the quadrant known as, whatever. But if you guys have not read this volume of Buck Rogers, please go read it. It's freaking awesome. Like I know, like you guys would never thought of who would have thought that Buck Rogers would be a comic book, right? This is awesome. Do you have any more?
We got the XFiles.
Oh, arguably my second favorite show of all time, the XFiles. It's really cool. This is the new XFiles annual, and I've read it. I read page to page, cover to cover. I even read the opening credits as well. But I love how it's just the continuing stories of Mulder and Scully. After the X-Files series ended back in 2002, some genius out there said, "Hey, why don't we continue the stories of the X-Files in comic book form?" Holy crap, that was a great idea on their part. And also, for those who don't know, these are these are different companies too. There's Dark Horse, there's IDW, there's Dynamite. There's different comic book companies that own the different rights. If you want, I can do a video about the rights soon. But otherwise, I love the X-Files one. It goes into a lot of the mythology very well. I think it's awesome. Aliens? Whoa, man. Whoa. James Cameron's Aliens in graphic novel form with comic books. Oh my God. I've read this. As I said, I said with the X-Files, I read this one cover to cover. It's ridiculous. It takes place a little bit after James Cameron's Aliens film. And basically, this other group that is landed on the Xenomorphs planet has come after them. He's like, you know what? I don't know if we're going to make it. He's there for a year or two. And the Xenomorphs are coming. They ate all of his friends. They attacked him. And then one of them bred into one of the Xenomorphs, and the humans combined to make one mega alien human guy. Freaky stuff. But, also this is a part of Dark Horse's Fire and Stone run of different characters. They have Prometheus, Aliens, and Predator going right now, all under the Fire and Stone banner. It's a big crossover event with those characters. So if you're a big comic fan, go check them out too. But otherwise, I think this is an incredible book. Not only does it expand more stories in the Alien universe, but it also gives us more great stories with some of the characters that we love and we know and love, like Sigourney Weaver's Ripley, or even Michael Baine's character in Aliens. It's incredible. So I see you have a few more over there too.
Mm-hmm. Terminator?
Yes, the Terminator. Look at it, it's beautiful. Now, this Terminator graphic novel is one of the coolest graphic novels I've read in forever. I think it's just straight up awesome. You know why? Because the first film takes place in 1984. But I will say though, the cool thing about this book is that it takes place. The first movie took place in the year 1984, when Kyle Reese was sent back to go and to protect Sarah Connor from the Terminator. Now, this book takes place in 1985, where the Skynet targets another biotechnician that sooner or later becomes a part of Skynet, and then they result in Judgment Day, and the whole world blows up, blah, blah, blah. This is like the Aliens book. It's another story within the Terminator mythology or the universe, and it's a great addition to the universe as a whole, because you have more stories with other Terminators, and not just Arnold, but it's other Terminators as well. So, and I love that book. It was great.
And last but not least, we got Kevin Smith's Green Hornet.
Whoa! Wait, you're saying Kevin Smith wrote this?
You're right.
Oh my God! Now, this is just truly awesome. This is the Green Hornet, Volume 1 and 2, and Kevin Smith did the script work for these graphic novels. And here's a little bit of the backstory of the story as well. It depicts Britt Reed's son is the new, like his father, Britt Reed Jr.'s father, Britt Reed, was gunned down by a vigilante known as the Black Hornet. Obviously, the Green Hornet is the character, the hero in Central City. But this is after the Green Hornet's been retired for a while. Britt Reed's out, he's gunned down, and then his son finds out, you know what, I might as well take up the mantle of the Green Hornet with a new sidekick as well. Kato's daughter is the new Kato. So the original chauffeur, and they track down the Black Hornet. Everything has to do with the mob, all the fights in there. Kevin Smith's script works so well in these books. It was incredible. I don't know what else to say on that, but hey, thank you for bringing these graphic novels. I'm glad I could talk about them for a little while.
So, since we were talking about Green Hornet, do you think the fans are ready for a Green Hornet reboot?
Do I think they're ready for a reboot of the Green Hornet?
Yes.
Ooh. You know, that's a topic. I don't know if they're. Do I think they're ready? Well, considering that the last one was a total piece of crap on turd, it was a turd on wheels, basically. You know, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't know what they could do with the character. I know that in the Green Hornet Sins of the Father graphic novels, it takes place after Britt Reed. So you could theoretically have two films. You could easily have two films right there of Britt Reed and Kato, like first film, second film. And then you could probably have a TV series spun off after that regarding the Sins of the Father storyline, where Britt Reed gets shot down. You don't have to change the cast at all. And then Britt Reed's son takes over the mantle of the Green Hornet for like 2 or 3 seasons on TV. And then that would build up the character more, and then it would gain more of a fan base. Overall, I think that's probably the best way to do it, and I think the fans are ready. I think that the fans of not just the Green Hornet, but other characters that are non-Marvel or DC would really be beneficial too. Because you build up you build up a character that has been around since the 30s, really. He started as a radio series, and then he grew into a TV series and 1940s movies in the movie theater. But when you ask the question, do I think they're ready for a new one? I think they are. I think the old one has passed. We understand how much it sucked. It was more of a comedy than anything. I think this one can dive into the rich mythology very well. So that's what I think. But overall, I think they are ready.
Should Indiana Jones 5 be a reboot or a continuation?
Well, given that Indiana Jones is one of the very special place in my heart kind of character, I think it's time to move on. I think that Indiana Jones is ready to move on from Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford has been Indiana Jones for us for generations. Ever since 1981, he's been the character of Indiana Jones. And being that the fourth one kind of didn't do it justice at all, like the three are only the real ones we have right now. The fourth one was a bit of a drop-off. I think it's time you reboot it. And you reboot it with either Chris Pratt, because after what we saw him in Jurassic World, how he showed the more serious nature of him, rather than the, ooh, I just tripped over, a big rock, that kind of slapstick comedy that he's used to doing, like he showed in Star-Lord and Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that Chris Pratt could pull off Indiana Jones very well. If not, Bradley Cooper. I could see Bradley Cooper doing that too. So there's a small handful. And Nathan Fillion from Firefly. Other characters like that, other actors like that could do it justice very well. And I think that, I don't know what it was. I think that those guys could easily take back keep the role of Indiana Jones going, but keep it fresh, keep it new. And I'd love to see what they do with that. But if you ask me if it would be a sequel or a reboot, I think it's going to be a reboot, just because the last one was kind of a train wreck.
So, back to Buck Rogers.
Oh, yes, thank you. Buck Rogers, folks.
Do you think a film would work today?
Do I think a Buck Rogers movie would work? Well, I think that a Buck Rogers movie would work today for a couple of reasons. One, you have unlimited amounts of CGI nowadays. You just have computer graphics after computer graphics after computer graphics. Like, the CG itself is becoming better and better and better than film itself. Like, actual physical roll of film. So, and we're living in such a digital age, too, with our iPhones out, and we got, portable speakers. We have mobile computers now. Come on, that's crazy stuff. But if, like, a Buck Rogers movie, if you took the character of Buck Rogers and you made him like he is in this wonderful graphic novel here. Maybe you want to get rid of the costume. It's a little cheesy for the big screen. But if you were to make it today, it could be a very successful franchise. And also, it could slightly bridge the gap between sci-fi and fantasy more. It's like a whole lot of Star Wars meets a little bit of Lord of the Rings in a certain sense. Like the fantasy elements of Lord of the Rings and this giant amount of sci-fi and Star Wars could easily cross together. But I think the two of them, I think those two could easily be brought together. Also, there's a topic I wanted to bring up with you, kind sir. And maybe like I'll ask you, and then you bounce it back to me. What do you think? So there's a wonderful 80s cartoon series called He-Man, and what I've thought about it was, very few properties in Hollywood can you bridge the Lord of the Rings and the Star Wars crossover elements together, such as sci-fi and fantasy together. I think He-Man could do that. He-Man, He-Man, Skeletor, those guys. I think they could do it well too, and very few properties in Hollywood could do that. Like a Flash Gordon could do it. Buck Rogers could kind of do it. He-Man can do it too. But there's also really cool franchise potential in all these things I just mentioned. So I think Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, He-Man, that's the way to go.
All right. So have you seen Daredevil on Netflix?
Oh, I have loved every bit of Daredevil I've seen so far. I'm only in episode 3 of 13, but what I've seen so far is brutal. There's a scene where a bad guy takes a bowling ball and he smashes a guy's face with a bowling ball. It's tied in with the Avengers, but it's also rated R Marvel on television, which I find to be very cool. And the popularity of the characters skyrocketed ever since they created this show. So yes, I've seen it, and that is what I thought of it. Anything else?
Do you have any thoughts on the new Fantastic Four?
Oh, well, the Fantastic Four is coming out, in August, and it's June? We're 2 months away? Home stretch, baby. Woo! And also, I've been following the Fantastic Four the moment I heard that they were relaunching the characters. Because what I found out was, look, let's face it, the last Fantastic Four movies were just suck. They just sucked so much. Like the comedy elements and the sarcastic humor, it was terrible. Can't stand it at all. But what I think Josh Trank proved, the director, proved, was that you can bring a grittier tone to these science fiction-y characters in a way that works. It worked in the trailers, but let's see if it works on the screen. So, my anticipation for Fantastic Four is going through the roof now because all the trailers I've seen, and the slow movement of TV spots as well. But yeah. So, as far as Fantastic Four goes, I'm ready for it.
And do you have any thoughts on Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.? Oh yes, Man from U.N.C.L.E. Sorry. Don't worry. I forgot about what it was for a sec. Man from U.N.C.L.E., for those of you who don't know what the Man from U.N.C.L.E. is, it was a 60s it was a 60s live-action James Bond type show in the 60s, from 64 to 69 or 1970, like one of the two. It ran for about 4 seasons, and then it was canceled. And it grew a very popular fan base, too. Henry Cavill, the man who played Superman in Man of Steel, is playing the new Napoleon Solo from Man from U.N.C.L.E. And I love the trailers I've seen, and I love the way it looks. Yes, it does look like a James Bond ripoff here and there, but overall I think it looks great. And it looks like a very funny movie, at the same time a very serious movie. So, but I don't know. Maybe there's just a lot of James Bond stuff coming out today, like James Bond ripoffs and stuff like that, but who knows?
And how much money will Batman vs Superman make opening weekend?
Wow, how much money will it make? How much money will Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice make opening weekend?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it's gonna make 200 plus, easily. Because there's no bigger popularity on the planet than Batman and Superman in one movie. It's never happened before. In live action, it's never happened. And plus, you're doing the verses, like where Batman's going after Superman, stuff like that. Easily. big opening weekend numbers, depending on how many theaters it's open and 3D and stuff like that. I think it's going to crush this entire lineup, and it's just going to make a ridiculous amount of money. It has the potential to beat the Avatar record of $2.7 billion. So I hope it does that too. But I don't know. I think it's going to join the $1 billion club. I don't think it's going to make the $2 billion club. It has the potential, but I don't think it's going to do it. So.
Has Deadpool wrapped filming?
Oh, it has, yes. Deadpool has wrapped filming, for those who don't know. And they're in post-production right now for a February 12th, 2016 release date. And I am stoked for this movie because it's going to be a rated R Fox X-Men property. Come on, that's what we all wanted. We've always wanted a rated R Deadpool movie. We don't want this PG-13 crap. I'd rather see rated R than PG-13 because the nature of the character is a rated R character if you really think about it. Like Deadpool now, he's very snarky, he's very sarcastic, he's also very brutally violent in the comics. He's practically killed the Marvel Universe. Ha, gotcha, comic nerds. But yeah, he's like killed almost everyone in the Marvel Universe, and he's done a ridiculous job of doing it. So, but it's wrapped filming. I'm glad it's gonna be rated R, and I can't wait for it.
And my last question: have you heard anything about the 4 comic book movies coming out in July 2018?
Four comic movies. Yes, they have actually. They have the 4 comic movies. For those who don't know, that July 2018 has 4 comic book movies. Yes, 4 comic book movies in 1 month. For those who don't know, I believe that's Black Panther, Aquaman, a Fox Marvel property, so it's a Fox Marvel movie. And I believe the last one is Sony's Spider-Man movie. I could be wrong with that, but I think it's Spider-Man, Black Panther, Aquaman, and a Fox Marvel property. That's a little ridiculous for 1 month. I mean, you could at least spread them out a little bit, that they don't interfere with the other box office competition. But yeah, it's weird to me how the box office is going to be like that close together. So, but overall, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good year for comic movies. Next year looks ridiculous. 2016 looks ridiculous. You have like 8 in 1 year, and that also proves whether or not the audience is tired of these comic movies. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And is that our last question?
Yep, that was it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me come in and answer these questions. So, but yeah, that'll wrap it up for today's not live, but today's Q&A for the Super Review Show. Don't forget, you can like us on Facebook under the Super Review Show. I post a lot of new updates there. Twitter, we're on Twitter. It's in the link down below. And for all your sweaty nerd geek news, any updates, keep it locked on the Super Review Show. I'll see you later.